Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Steve Larsen, and you're listening to Sales Funnel Radio. Now, this is the power of publishing, how to create a podcast, part 2. And the reason I did it this way is because at the beginning, the first episode, part number 1 of this was really me diving into how I come up with my podcast content. It's something that I get asked frequently. How can you generate that kind of content over and over and over and repeatedly, week after week, And so the last, part number 1 was all about that. If you've not heard it, I encourage you to go back and listen to it. So this episode, though, what I want to dive into is more about a few more of the rules of podcasting. There are some rules, if you actually want to be successful with it, that I've noticed as I've not followed them. And a lot of it's been haphazard. If I've not followed these rules, then I've not been successful with that episode. If I have, then they go great. And so I want to share with you what those things are. And then I'm going to share with you, okay, how do I actually get this thing recorded now? I want to show you, I want to tell you real quick what the software is that I use, what kind of, real fast, just the kind of mic, and as well as how do I actually publish to 15 different platforms with a single click? I make this thing as super turnkey as possible, which I have to because I have a full-time job working at ClickFunnels. And so so it's kind of a trick. And I'm always a true believer that stress creates fantastic systems, and this has been no different. And I'm really excited to share with you guys how I've actually finished this. So with that, I'm going to jump right into this next episode.
Welcome to Sales Funnel Radio, where you'll learn marketing strategies to grow your online business using today's best internet sales funnels. And now, here's your host, Steve Larsen.
All right, you guys, so let me dive a little bit more into this, and only because I think the tech side and what kind of mic you use and all that stuff, I don't think it really matters that much. I'll dive into that here in a second, but I just want to run through some rules of podcasting. Number 1, you cannot be boring. Everybody, I don't care where you are, what you're doing, unless you're in the gym, it'll jack up your shoulder. Raise your arm right now and say, I, state your name, will not be boring. And what's funny is most people are so afraid of messing up that they don't do anything anyway, ever. It keeps them from taking action. And so by merely taking action, you will set yourself apart from so many people because you're seriously just moving. And since you're moving, you might as well not be boring. And do that by telling stories. You do that by getting excited about your own message. I love music, you guys. I love it. I love going to live concerts. It is one of my favorite things on the planet. And I love. I don't know if you guys ever heard the band Incubus. I saw them live on Red Rocks Amphitheater, 20,000 people. I was on the 4th row. I think that was the one with the 4th row. Anyway, I've seen a lot of concerts, and total concert junkie in my day growing up. And I love an artist that loves his own music. And you can see it and you can tell it. And I believe that's true for marketing and your messaging and how you interact with your community and the culture that you create. People will love you if you love what you're doing. It's contagious. It's not something you can hide behind. And so when you're creating these pieces of content, you can't be boring. Get excited about your own thing. Get passionate about it. Act like somebody's threatening it. Get really intense about it. Sometimes I do that. I literally do push-ups here besides the desk before I get started. State control, just, and I'd get really, really intense about it. Freaking funnels, who's going to tell me they're wrong? You know what I mean? And I get pumped about it, and have courage to publish that stuff. And that leads to the second thing. You guys, publishing is cool, but you got to publish with a purpose. As you publish with purpose, meaning I don't just put a podcast out there merely to just fill your ear with my thoughts. I'm not doing it for my own health. I'm not doing it for... I want you to go to salesfunnelradio.com and subscribe and rate. I want you to go to salesfunnelbroker.com and download the free website that I created out of ClickFunnels for you. I want you to go do those things. When you go out and you start thinking through your messaging, you've got to put together the reason why you're actually doing it. Which it's just really, really important. Just know that your publishing is a means to an end. And while it's good to just continually give tips, but what's the purpose for you? After a while, you'll experience burnout if there's not a purpose and a thing that you're shooting towards. I'm exhausted right now. I've only slept a few hours the last few nights, and this seems to be this constant theme in the past. And I would not have the wherewithal and the energy and the gusto to do this if I did not believe that it's actually helping people who've been asking me this question. So what I'm saying is to put a call to action. Put a call to action at the end of every one of your episodes or whatever it is that you're publishing or putting out there. Number 2, I'm sorry. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Okay, whatever number this is. You guys need to practice inflections. Don't speak monotone. Don't just sit there and say, funnels are fantastic. Wow, I'm really exciting. Everyone should follow me. I'm clearly a leader. You know what I mean? Like you can't do that. Notice at the end of every one of my sentences, did you hear that? If I was to speak a sentence without word, it would sound, and while it's really weird for me to do that on a podcast, you get the point. Okay. You can't speak monotone. And so at the end of every one of your sentences, you either go up or you go down, or you do a little in the middle of the sentence. Does that make sense? You guys are going to hear it. You're going to be really, really conscious of it now for the rest of this episode and any of the rest of the things that I do. Feel free to laugh like I just did. Feel free to. And the only reason I'm doing that is because there's so many people I've been listening to lately who come from the corporate world, or who are afraid that people are going to judge them, and they are scared to death to just be vulnerable. That's the last rule here. You have got to be vulnerable. I just told you I'm religious. I just told you stories of me failing. I told you I was scared to launch this podcast. I told you I was scared to get out there and do stuff, and I made it up. You know, I mean, well, there was a lot of thought behind it. I'm not saying I just winged it. But man, do you guys get what I'm saying? You have to be vulnerable. Oh man, anyway, that could start a whole nother tangent. But if you're not vulnerable, no one's going to want to listen to you because you're going to seem fake. Fair? Okay, check the box on that one. I'm going to move forward now. All right. You know what? I should probably... Okay, let me get into more of the strategy of how you actually set up the podcast itself. This is super important, and it's very, very powerful. Back in February, we were running what Russell and I are calling the FAT event, the Funnel Hackathon event. And for 3 days, people come and we help them set up their businesses to make $1 million. It's really, really cool. It's great programs, absolutely fantastic. And he asked me to MC. At least to introduce him each day. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, how do you introduce a guy like Russell Brunson? He's Russell Brunson. You know what I mean? How do you do that? You know, and that's racing thoughts just rifling through my head. And I was like, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And it was really cool. He could tell that I was excited to do it. My answer is like almost always yes for everything when it comes to scary things. I just almost always try and say yes to scary stuff because I know it's going to push me. And so I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm totally going to do that, you know? And in the back of my head, I was like, he's starting in 5 minutes. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I got to MC or I got to introduce him. And he could see I was like running through a whole bunch of stuff in my head trying to figure out what to say. And he goes, dude, this is it. Okay. Good MCs, the whole point of MCs is to increase the state of the audience before I get on stage. He's like, if you can increase the state of the audience before I get on stage, increase the energy level, increase their anticipation, just get them to a higher state. He's like, and then it's way easier for me because I don't have to spend all this time doing that. All I have to do is start teaching because they're already at a fast, high, pace state. Because I'm going to be, and if they're not, it's weird. Then I got to spend all this time getting them to a state and it makes me look weird and not positioned correctly. So all you got to do is go get into a high state. And so I told this awesome story and we got everyone laughing and jumping around and they were in a really high peak state to receive Russell. Guys, your podcast's intro is the exact same thing. Okay. Any intro is the exact same thing. All right. When you go out and you create a podcast intro or video intro or any kind of introduction, it's all about state control. It's not so much about saying like, look what I did and here's my credentials. This is going to teach you about X, Y, and Z. I choose music very specifically for my podcasts or for the things that I put out there so that it gets people jazzed up and in a higher state. If I can get people in a state where they're like, whoa, yeah, oh my gosh, this is Sales Funnel freaking Radio, oh my gosh, whoa, and if they can get in that state, then whatever I'm going to say, they're going to receive a lot better. If I don't do that, I just jump straight into it, it's going to sound awkward. It's going to sound weird. It becomes culture building for you to have that intro. People expect it. They like getting in state. People like to be happy. People like to go into a higher level of energy and go, oh my, yeah, wow, I'm excited. Whatever it is, I'm pumped about it now. And which makes me want to switch my podcast intro now because I like it, but we're like 64 episodes in now, and I'm getting a little bit old. I kind of want to rinse and repeat a little bit. So anyways, when you create your intro, state control, what I did is I went to all the top podcasts in the business area. You could do this for, videos and YouTube, whatever, or vlogging, whatever. All I did is I went to the very top people in the business area and the marketing area, and I listened to all their intros, and I transcribed every one of them by hand. I looked at all the commonalities, and I was like, cool. And I wrote my script from that. And that's literally how I made my podcast script. Then what I did is I went to premiumbeat.com and audiojungle.com. And in there, you can buy royalty-free songs. And so what I did is I went, and they got all these sweet jingles, like a lot of the music that happens in B-roll and movies and stuff like that. You can buy those soundtracks, and some of them are $50, but it's totally worth it. You get your own, and it's super awesome. What's super cool about that, though, is that you can sort by like 30-second little segments. And so I know I don't really want my podcast intro to be longer than 30 seconds. So I'll have this script now, and I go find this sweet song with like this cool, fast, upbeat thing. I always look for songs that are like 120 beats per minute or faster, so that it makes the person feel like, oh, yeah, what? Yeah. This is going to start. Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it helps increase, like almost like they're at a dance, or they went to like some club or whatever. And then what I do is I go and I find someone to do a voiceover. And I've done this several times now. And I go back to the same guy. He's fantastic. It took me a long time to find him. And in fact, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? If you guys go to the blog, go to blog.salesfunnelbroker.com. Blog.salesfunnelbroker.com. If you find this episode here, I'm going to call it The Power of Publishing or how to start a podcast. It'd be one of those two. And I'm going to put in there the link for my guy who does the voiceover intro, because he's so amazing. Really, really enjoy working with him. I've used him many times now. But all I do is I hand him the script. I send him the song so he knows the feel and he knows how he's matching it. And I say, cool, it's 30 seconds long. You have like 25 seconds so that there's a little time in the front and the back. And boom, done. Now, that's like the really easy way to do it. To be honest, I love sound editing, and I've been mixing music for, since I was in middle school. So I like to mix it all myself and put it all together myself. And I got a lot of sound editing stuff and things like that. And I've created Russell's new podcast intro, marketingsecrets.com. I created the sound for that. Same with the drop mic show that he's got. That's super cool. I made that audio thing too. And it's been really, really fun. And I love to mix it by hand. But if you aren't that kind of person, the easiest way to do it is to go to premiumbeat.com or audiojungle.com, sort by 30-second clips and like 120 beats per minute or faster. Figure out something that's kind of cool, get your script, hand it over to my voiceover guy, and what he's going to do is he's going to basically, tell me, hey, you got this many seconds, and then you literally, he'll even lay it over for you. Hey, lay your voice over this, cool, done. And he'll send it back to you, and there, boom, done, voiceover, or a podcast intro. It doesn't need to be as crazy as people think it is. Boom mics and all this stuff and sound equipment. Like, no, that's crap. Like half the time I've used my phone to create my podcast. It doesn't matter if you've got great content. And even if you do, I'm just obsessed with sound quality. So let me jump into that part of it. So for my intro and my outro, what I do is I use a call to action. Hey, go get a free funnel that I built for you. It took 200 hours to build. By going to salesfunnelbroker.com, and you can download it straight off the front page there. It took 200 hours to build. There you go. Merry Christmas. And, so that's insane value. You got to give something away that they should have paid for. That's the secret. And so that's what I do for my call to actions on my outros. Or, hey, ask Steven a question. My Hey Steve show, if you go to salesfunnelradio.com, click on the green button in the bottom right, I've got a ton of questions pouring in the last few days. It's been a lot of fun. And I'll do these segments where I just answer people's questions, and I absolutely love it. And it creates engagement. And so long as I haven't run out of them, I'll send you a Hey Steve t-shirt. You know what I mean? That's really cool. It's awesome. The people go wear it. They take a picture of themselves. They put it on Facebook. It spreads my brand, spreads them, and they get their question answered. It's really, 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 really fun. So anyways, so the outro is super key as well. You guys might notice that I'm pretty energetic on my mic. I'm pretty energetic on my podcast. And there's a lot of reasons for it. One of the reasons why is because I know that if I'm excited, you probably will be too. If I'm super low key or whatever, like there's times for either. And so I use energy as a tool to my advantage. One of my buddies just reached out to me. He's launching his own podcast. I'm excited for him. He's really, really pumped about it. He's going to do great. He's got a good voice for it. He's got good content. I've known him for a long time. We actually started kind of in this world together, and he's actually one of my first interviews on my podcast. But I'm excited for him. But he's like, dude, how do you set up your mic? And so I'll tell you guys, I have an Audio-Technica AT2020 mic. It's on a boom arm, which has only been there for the last like 15 episodes because we just moved to a house. And I've got a spit screen. I call it a spit screen. It's a windscreen, right? If I take it away, then it sounds like this, and it's really loud, and you're gonna hear all my little my ums and ahs. But if I put it back over across like this, it's a lot cleaner sound, and that's the reason I do that. So what's cool about this mic, and I'm going to go fast on this stuff because I know some of you guys don't care, and it's true that you don't need to care that much about it. Just put good stuff out there, okay? Sound is not going to make you $1 million. Sound quality, I guess unless that you're selling sound quality equipment or something, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter as much as people think it does. What you're going to do, if you want, so the AT2020 mic, I really, really like it. I've got a boom arm on it. It attaches to my desk. The reason I like it is because it's literally retractable. I can put it in front of my face and then push it away from my face when I don't need to be doing anything, so I can still work on my computer. But it runs off of what's called phantom power. Phantom power is 48 volts. And I have a phantom power converter that plugs straight into my computer. Each was like $100 with the boom arm. I bet this whole thing was $400 setup. That way I plug USB straight into my computer with my boom mic. That's basically it. Then all I do is I turn the levels down enough so that I have to yell into the mic for it to pick up all the things that I'm saying to you. Steven, why do you do that? Because it keeps my energy higher and it keeps your energy higher as you listen to me. I literally yell into the mic. By the time my podcasts are over, my voice always hurts. My stomach hurts because I've been forcing through my diaphragm as much as I can. Guys, I am trying to spit into the mic. I'm trying to yell into it, and I try and do that a lot. And it's for the reason of keeping energy. Anyways, that's more about how I do my podcast. Then what I do is after this is over, I always stop. I put my intro and my outro front and back. I export it. I use a tool right now. This is all recording on Adobe Audition, but you could use GarageBand even if you needed to. Or Russell just uses the mic or the voice memos app on his phone. Like it doesn't matter as much as people think it does. People get distracted. You guys remember that episode I did recently called The Tools I Hate? The tools I hate are the ones that distract you from doing the thing, right? Some people get so distracted on the tool. They look for tools to distract themselves with. And they won't ever launch. They won't ever do anything because they keep getting distracted with tools. And they keep getting distracted with tricks and gadgets and little shiny things. It's like, it doesn't really matter that much. Just start. And eventually you can get to it. I bootstrapped this whole thing. It wasn't only till recently when I started putting all the stuff up together and how it all got... Anyway. So what I do afterwards, after I actually go and have the podcast done, I always export it as an MP3. But then what I do is I go take it to rev.com. That's REV, as in like Romeo, EV. Does that make sense? Romeo, Echo, I can't remember what the envelope. That's a classic example of being vulnerable right there. I'm tired and I can't remember the phonetic alphabet. Okay, so it's REV, Rev, like you're revving an engine, rev.com. It's cool because you can transcribe a minute, $1 per minute. So I go send it over to him and I get a transcription. Then I send it over to my assistant, who actually is my sister, and she goes and she reads the whole transcript, makes sure that they did it okay. They throw pictures. She throws pictures in there. She actually puts the podcast straight on the blog. Then she publishes it to Libsyn, and Libsyn blasts it out to like 15 different platforms in one button. I don't like Twitter. I hate Twitter, but it publishes there, and I have a following there. I don't hate LinkedIn. I just don't really know what their unique proposition is. You know what I mean? I don't know what their blue ocean is really that much. But a lot of people listen to my podcast on LinkedIn. I mean, a lot of people do. I'm actually shocked the number of people that listen on LinkedIn. It automatically publishes there. It automatically publishes to YouTube. It publishes all over the place. And you can do it for like $5 a month through Libsyn. It's amazing. So it basically shotgun publishes to tons of platforms. Google Play. I just figured I could put it on Spotify and Bandcamp and all these different places, which I'm going to go do it on Stitcher. And it blasts all over the place in one button, and it pushes out on iTunes. And then what I do is I take a little stock. I wait a few days. I see if the headline that I wrote. And usually what I do is I write some kind of intriguing headline that's highly curiosity based. Sometimes it's a how-to statement. Sometimes it's anyway. Regardless, it's like the subject line of an email. It's got to be so intriguing that it gets you to open the actual podcast. You know what I mean? And so sometimes I'm documenting stuff. Sometimes it's how-to stuff. And then when I see that people have been listening to it, I go boost it on Facebook for like a, $50 or $100 behind it. And I just go blast it all over the place so the podcast can keep growing. Guys, that's literally how I do my podcast. I got nothing else to say about it. I've been going for 45 minutes. I will probably split this into 2 different episodes because of that. But that's it. It sounds crazy, but to be quite honest, like half of that's just technobabble crap that you can just kind of wing and figure out while you need to figure it out. You don't need to see the whole road. You know what I mean? Just figure it out when you're there and you need to figure it out, not before you get it all done. So anyway, guys, that's how I publish my podcast. And I love my podcast. And I'm so glad that there's so many people that have been joining it and loving it and all the awesome messages. I just really appreciate it. All the shout outs on Facebook, it's been really, really awesome. And I just want to thank you guys for helping me as much as the cool things I've been able to share with you about building sales funnels and putting things together. I just finished another sales funnel today, and I should be finishing 3 more tomorrow. And it's awesome. So anyways, guys, if you like this stuff, please go to iTunes and leave a review. That helps me like crazy, helps other people find this podcast. If you leave a review and share it and rate it, that would be awesome. I would love it if you shared it. Share it on Facebook, share it wherever. A lot of people on YouTube listen, love to just have you as a subscriber. And if you got any questions, whatever, go to salesfunnelradio.com, ask me a question. There's going to be a green button. You can literally record your voice straight over the browser and it'll email a copy of it to me and I put it on the podcast. It's really fun. Or if you want to go get a sales funnel, or I got a whole slew of free ones, whether it's email or membership sites or webinars or whatever it is. There's a whole bunch of them you can go download for free with your ClickFunnels account. If you don't have ClickFunnels, I don't know why, but my funnels come with a free trial. So anyways, super excited for this episode. I'm really, really glad I got to do this with you guys. Thanks for the question. I've been getting enough that I just thought that I should do kind of an exclusive big episode about it. So anyways, you guys are all awesome and I appreciate you, and looking forward to the next episode as well. I'm really stoked about it. It's been on my mind a lot. So anyway, stay tuned for the next one, and love to have you as a big time subscriber here. And talk to you guys later. Go crush it. Literally go crush something. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Sales Funnel Radio. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Have a question you want answered on the show? Get your free t-shirt when your question gets answered on the live Hey Steve show. Visit salesfunnelbroker.com now to submit your question.